President Trump did not follow specific warnings from his national security advisors Tuesday when he congratulated Russian President Vladimir Putin on his re-election, including a section in his briefing materials in all capital letters stating, "Do not congratulate," according to officials familiar with the call. Trump also chose not to heed talking points from aides instructing him to condemn the recent poisoning of a former Russian spy in Britain with a powerful nerve agent, a case that both the British and US governments have blamed on Moscow. The president's conversation with Putin, which Trump described as a "very good call," prompted fresh criticism of his muted tone toward one of the United States' biggest geopolitical rivals amid the special counsel investigation into Russia's election interference and the Trump campaign's contacts with Russian officials. Although the Trump administration has taken a tougher stance toward Russia recently, including new sanctions last week on some entities for election meddling and cyber attacks, the president has declined to forcefully join London in denouncing Moscow for the poisoning of Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in Salisbury, England, this month. They remain critically ill. Trump told reporters that he had offered his well-wishes on Putin's new 6-year term during a conversation that covered a range of topics, including arms control and the security situations in Syria and North Korea. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders told reporters that Skripal's case was not discussed. Information on Syria and North Korea was also provided to the president in writing before the call, officials said. In this file photo taken on Friday, July 7, 2017, President Trump meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the G20 summit in Hamburg, Germany. Evan Vucci, we'll probably be meeting in the not-too-distant future, Trump said of Putin, though Sanders emphasized that nothing is planned. The White House press office declined to comment on the briefing materials given to Trump. Two people familiar with the note cards acknowledged that they included instructions not to congratulate Putin. But a senior White House official emphasized that National Security Advisor H.R. Master did not mention the issue during a telephone briefing with the president, who was in the White House residence ahead of and during his conversation with Putin. It was not clear whether Trump read the note, administration officials said. Trump, who initiated the call, opened it with the congratulations for Putin, one person familiar with the conversation said. The president's tone drew a rebuke from Sen. John McCain, Arizona, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, who wrote on Twitter, "An American president does not lead the free world by congratulating dictators on winning sham elections. And by doing so with Vladimir Putin, President Trump insulted every Russian citizen who was denied the right to vote in a free and fair election." But Sen. Bob Corker, Tennessee, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, appeared less concerned, noting that Trump has also offered congratulations to other leaders of more totalitarian states. "I wouldn't read much into it," Corker said. Putin's latest consolidation of power came in what foreign policy analysts said was a rigged election in which he got 76% of the vote against several minor candidates. And world leaders have hesitated to congratulate Putin, since his re-election occurred in an environment of state control of much of the news media and with his most prominent opponent barred from the ballot. Ahead of Tuesday's phone call, national security aides provided Trump with several handwritten note cards filled with talking points to guide his conversation, as is customary for calls with foreign leaders, according to the officials with knowledge of the call, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations. The note cards are similar to the one Trump was photographed clutching during a White House meeting last month with students and parents after the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, FLA, officials said. Trump's failure to raise Moscow's alleged poisoning of the former spy in Britain risked angering officials in London, who are trying to rally Britain's closest allies to condemn the attack. Russia has denied involvement in the March 4 poisoning, but the attack has badly damaged British-Russian relations, and British Prime Minister Theresa May last week announced the expulsion of 23 Russian diplomats in retaliation. Putin has denied that Russia had any role and called the claim nonsense. Asked about McCain's criticism, Sanders noted that the leaders of France and Germany also called Putin this week, and she pointed to former President Barack Obama, who congratulated Putin on an election win in 2012. "We've been very clear in the actions that we've taken that we're going to be tough on Russia, particularly when it comes to areas that we feel where they've stepped out of place," Sanders said. "We've placed tough sanctions on Russia and a number of other things where we have shown exactly what our position is." She emphasized, however, that Trump is determined to establish a working relationship with Putin to tackle global challenges, including confronting North Korea's nuclear weapons program. Asked whether the Trump administration believes that Russia conducted a free and fair election, Sanders said the administration is focused on U.S. elections. "We don't get to dictate how other countries operate," she said. "What we do know is that Putin has been elected in their country, and that's not something that we can dictate to them how they operate." Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, of Kentucky, distanced himself Tuesday from Trump's congratulatory remarks. "The president can call whomever he chooses," McConnell said at his weekly news conference. "When I look at a Russian election, what I see is a lack of credibility in tallying the results. I'm always reminded of the election they used to have in almost every communist country where whoever the dictator was at the moment always got a huge